Hey guys, DMS here. Today I have for you the Unique Melody MEST. Let's check it out. Now do me a favor, if you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. If you want to support the channel and ask me questions directly, you can on the Telegram chat, or you can get active in the community on Hi-Fi Guides. This is a pair of IEMs. They are not cheap at all, but Unique Melody has a history of making very interesting things, and these are no exception. The default cable these come with has a 2.5mm balanced connection with an adapter for 3.5mm and 4.4 Pentagon. This pair was sent to me from Musicteck.com with a K, so I could make this review on them. Now I will have their website linked in the video description if you want to check these out. They are listed on their site for $1,259. So there's a pretty large nozzle on these. Here, I'm going to pull out the Sennheiser IE300 for comparison. Here's the MEST and an IE300 for your side-by-side. Now it's not as large of a nozzle as the Blessing to Dusk, but it is just large enough that you may have to use slightly smaller tips than normal. I went through a variety of tips. I actually found that these complies that come in the packaging worked out the best with it. They have these little filters in them. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. The cabling is very, very nice. Pretty solid. It feels very premium. Not much to say about these. I like the coloring. It has a lot of dimension to it. Minimal branding here with Unique Melody. What can I say? It's an IEM. Let's talk about how they sound. So with silicone tips, with every tip I tried outside of the complies, I couldn't stand how they sounded. It was just crazy sibilant treble murder. It was really flat, just very, very, very unappealing. And then I tried them with the complies. I was almost going to give these a bad review. And then I tried them with the complies finally, and it completely changed everything. Even Dakoni tips didn't quite do what I was hoping it would do. And a lot of people recommend these with Bayer, I think the Zolento, it's pronounced really weird. Bayer tips that are very strange. If you find a set of those, who knows, maybe it's great. I haven't been able to try it that way because I can't find a way to buy those tips online. But with the complies, that's how I'm going to review these. With the complies that come in the packaging, that's the sound that I'm about to describe. So I'm going to read this off the website. Driver configuration. All right, 1 dynamic for low, 2 BAs for mid-highs, 2 BAs for highs, 2 EST, I assume that means electrostatic ultra highs, and 1 bone conduction. So that's per ear. There are 8 individual drivers. I do like things that have electrostatic highs in them. I like that quite a lot in the Nana IEMs, which video coming on those also. In this particular case with the MEST, like I said, it was bright, but then when I put the comply tips on, it goes from bright to incredibly buttery smooth. And they sound very, very neutral, truth be told. Bass doesn't sound boosted, it sounds very well extended. They're not warm, but they're rich. The highs feel very present, but not peaky at all. It's very, very smooth. It doesn't seem to roll off. It seems to extend super well. In fact, the tuning of this with these comply tips on it is really how I wish a lot of headphones sounded. Now granted, over-ear headphones do push far beyond what these can accomplish with SOUNDSTAGE, and sometimes with detail as well, but honestly, at the price, $1,259, this is competitive detail-wise and frequency response-wise with full-sized open back and closed back headphones. The SOUNDSTAGE is bigger than I would expect from an IEM. It sounds like a, I would say, somewhat narrow full-sized headphone, which is pretty good staging in an IEM, so I'm not complaining there. It does have a good variety to it. I've been told this is because of the bone conduction driver, but it can bounce between being in your head and being out of your head. It's not just limited to one or the other, so you get a good mix of well-separated sounds in the SOUNDSTAGE. So the SOUNDSTAGE isn't just one-dimensional, it's very three-dimensional. And the same goes for the imaging. The imaging is three-dimensional as well. It seems to kind of expand beyond just the scope of being limited into one small space or one large space. The imaging seems to place things very well within the given stage, which has quite a bit of dynamics to itself. Describing the timbre characteristics of this headphone, I would say that it has very, very delicate sound to it. Very delicate and rich at the same time. And I almost wanted to lean towards saying that it has a precision sort of sound to the detail, but I feel like precision is too harsh of a term for how smooth these are. I think that delicate is a better word, because when I think of delicate, I think of like a plucked flower petal or something like that. Interesting comparison, right? But you think about it, just very small, fine movements that are fast and lightweight, effortless, with very little resistance. That is how I think of this, but at the same time, very gentle. It's not dark, it's not recessed. In fact, treble is one of the regions where this really shines, but delicate is the word to use. Vocal clarity on these is fantastic. A lot of times center pan vocals do sound like they're in your head while instruments sound like they're farther out, and I would say the bubble goes to about right here. This is about where things stop at. That's still pretty good though, but those center pan vocals really have a strong articulation to them. I've been very impressed with several IEMs over the years, and I would say that these, if you were using the comply tips, stand right next to, I don't want to say surpassing, but I would say they stand up to the 64 Audio U12T. Now, maybe not in every single way, but it really sounds like it's right there. I really need to listen to them side by side again, because it's been just a little while since I heard the U12T, but this is giving me an experience like those did, and in some ways I feel like it's giving me more of an experience, but I don't want to go that far until I can A/B them side by side. Now, I would say that currently this is, with these tips specifically, I'll keep pointing that out, the best tuned IEM currently under my roof, and that's only because the Blessing to Dusk just got mailed off. I think the Blessing to Dusk has slightly better tuning, however, in every other way, this is just a better IEM. I would love a MEST with the tuning of a Dusk. That would be insane. That would very easily be a small little end game package. And for some people, this probably would be a suiting end game. I know that I am certainly going to use these some more while I have them here. I'm going to measure these at some point, but I didn't want to measure them specifically for this video, and actually my rig isn't set up to measure right now anyway, so that'll have to hold off, but I will have some measurements public on these at some point soon. I'll probably put them up on the forum on Hi-Fi Guides. Now, I don't have any sort of affiliate link for these, but if you do think you're gonna get them, like I said, I'm going to put the Musicteck shop with a link in the description. It was very nice of them to let me borrow these, so Musicteck, I appreciate it. Now, as far as power goes, these are very easy to power. I don't necessarily think that this 4.4 is necessary, but it's nice to have. I was using these a lot on the Tone 2 Pro, just through the 3.5mm adapter, and it is more than sufficient to drive these at low volumes, and that amp does not produce a lot of power, but it is very clean for IEMs, so you can drive these on just about anything. They will benefit from a nicer quality DAC and better files, but they really don't need power at all. So Unique Melody MEST, a good example of why it's important to try a bunch of different tips with IEMs, because man, with this combination, these get a very, 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 very strong recommendation. It's hard to describe the sound of these much more than that. I really think that you just have to hear a pair to fully understand them, and I'm glad that I spent enough time with them to really kind of get what these are all about. Once you have that wow moment with a product, whether it's a speaker, a headphone, an IEM, anything, there's just no going back. That's that. You've had that moment, and you can't unhave that moment. And with these tips on them, they consistently deliver that moment. On like any song that I shuffle through, it gives me that experience. Okay, I'm gonna cut it there. I know there's probably more things that could be said about these, but I really feel like those were the key points. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. Use it with the comply tips. If you use it with silicone tips, it's going to be a sibilant nightmare house. But if you use it with the comply tips, smooth as butter. I am gonna listen to these more, so I need to turn these cameras off and put them back in my ears. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. A comment, let me know what you want to see in the future. If you want to get active in the community, you can at forum.hifiguides.com. As always, don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until the next one, guys. Peace.